Missed everybody. I missed everybody. Um, but I wanted to talk to y'all just a quick little word of encouragement on just do it anyway, y'all. Everybody that has been following this journey of mine, this road towards my elevation. Those who have been there, I wanted to say a bunch of thank yous, and I still got some more thank yous I'm gonna post out there. But when I tell y'all this was a journey for the record books, this was a journey. And when I tell you, y'all, when God calls you to do something like this type of call, you got to have people. You have to have people who are not about foolishness. You got to have people that are going to stay focused on your assignment to help you stay focused on your assignment. And when I tell you everything that could go wrong, went wrong, everything that tried to distract me, everything that tried to stop me that couldn't, but fought me tooth and nail all the way here. Okay. This has been, and I shared a little bit on the affirmation on live, but this has been like a 20+ year journey, y'all. Y'all only caught like the last 5 to 10 years of this journey, because this journey involved me, bumping up against people, coming under different leaderships, telling me I had to start from the bottom in order to get to the top. And every time I would go to a different ministry, here you can start here, but you can't start at this point. You have to do this back over because I wasn't the one who did it. And so I was just like, Lord, listen. Now you keep telling me we going up and we going higher, but every time it's time for me to go higher, it was always a blockage, right? And sometimes we'll look at that blockage and we get discouraged. And I got discouraged along the way, but what I didn't do along the way is I held fast to what it was that God told me, and I didn't let what others thought that they knew was best for me. I didn't let that sway me, and I didn't let that persuade me any different than what God told me. And I did it anyway, in spite of, right? And here's some things that a lot of people don't know. I had folk giving me warnings and and all this type of stuff, and I'm sitting here, but I know what God said, so that don't even line up with what God told me. And so you have to have some discernment. You have to know God for yourself. You have to be able to distinguish what is real and what is somebody else's insecurities, right? So that was one of the biggest things was getting around other people's insecurities and getting to a point to where you have to say, I got to do this no matter what. I got to do this anyway. I know you don't agree, right? I know you don't agree. I know it make you feel some kind of way, but I have to do this anyway, because this was spoken over my life 20+ years ago. It took me 20 years to get to the place where God called me 20 years ago, right? Most people would have gave up. Most people would probably still be sitting in the same spot, right? Still asking God, why are we not here? Why I'm not there yet? Why? But it also calls for you to make certain moves. And most people get hung up. And I like the way that our homilist, Dr. Dayton, when I tell y'all that brother preached, you hear me? The way he put it, and when he told me, he says, you were never stuck in anything. You were just going through something. But what we do is we allow the enemy come in and make us, give us a perception of being stuck. And so we won't move, right? Instead of just going through it, we won't move. We'll stand still, because we start looking at the challenges and we start looking at the roadblocks. And when you start looking at the roadblocks, you take your eye off God. But, things came up. Sorry, y'all. People are trying to text me. Y'all don't text me. Just get on the live. But things were happening, right? And it was major things that were happening. I'm telling y'all, the enemy messed with my money. The enemy messed with everything. And God just kept telling me, he's like, so you still gonna go? You still gonna do it? Listen, I was like Malcolm X, by any means necessary, I was going to get my butt to where I needed to get to. Hey, Apostle Tracy. Hey, I see y'all. And so, by any means necessary. And that even meant I had to hitch a ride with my god daughters and stuff and my friend, y'all, for 22 hours, right? Because plane tickets were like almost $1,100. Y'all hear me? With no money. Because the military didn't pay me, but everything came at the end. So I knew it was a spiritual thing, and I knew it was warfare, and I knew God was going to have me one way or the other. I already knew that, but it was something I had to walk through. Hey, Apostle Chantel, it was something I had to walk through. It was something that he was like, I'm not removing these obstacles. I need somebody to hear that part. I'm not preaching, y'all. I preached on Sunday. All right. God is like, I'm not going to remove these obstacles, because if these things here can stop you from getting to the place that I have called you to in this season, you're not ready for that place. You're not ready for that place. Did I cry? Yes, a whole lot. Because I said, well, God, you called me to this thing, and you told me this was the time, this was the season, and now this is this and this, all hell breaking loose, and I'm crying, and God is looking at me. What's your answer? What is your answer? And my answer is, I still got to go. My answer was still yes. My answer is like, all right, I'm doing it anyway. All right. The vestments, the vestments going in circles, right? Before I got here, vestments going in circles, just circling the apostle house and stuff. And I was like, can the vestments get here? They coming to the close to where she lived, and then they send it back an hour out, come back an hour in, send it 2 hours away, right? So it was everything. And I said, well, I had my civic attire. I was prepared to do it in my civic attire if we had to, right? The main point was me getting here. It was me. We was like, listen, we know some other apostles. Y'all, let me tell y'all something God told me. And it was so funny. We cracked up about it, but God was serious. Okay. Because I was like, I need my vestments. I need my vestments. See, don't get wrapped up in the vestments, y'all. Don't get wrapped up in the vestments. I said, I need my vestments. Right. And so Apostle Tracy, she said, we got other apostle stuff. You can borrow some vestments. Hear me? All right, hear me? She said, you can borrow some vestments. We just need you to get here so we can get this done. And I sat down on the bed in California. I said, God, I just want my vestments to get there. I need this money and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I said, I need my vestments to get there. If nothing else to get there, I need my vestments to get there. I was like, God, I don't want to have to borrow somebody else's vestments to do my affirmation. This is what God told me. I'm telling y'all, you better be sure that this is what God called you to do. This is what God told me. My son was buried in a borrowed tomb. Then shut me down. Shut me down. And so I had to make up in my mind, and I said, you know what? Whatever. If I have to borrow pieces here and there, we gonna do it. Let's go. All right, let's go. I'm telling y'all this, right? I'm telling y'all this because God is really calling. He's really calling his true people to the forefront. And the problem is, if it's not lined up the way we want it, we don't want to do it. And we don't want to go. Well, God, I'm not going to go if this. And God, I'm not going to go if that. Right? And so I had people that was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And then some people couldn't be there because there was sickness and stuff going on. And other people that said, oh, I got you. And they really wasn't coming. And God told me, don't expect them to be there, right? Because they got in their feelings. And so I got to that point. I said, well, God, as long as the people who need to be there are there, let's go. I said, I don't care if it ain't nobody but us that was on that flyer. I only needed the consecrators to be there, right? So that's how my thinking, I had to shift my thinking. And I said, I don't care if it ain't but just those that are on there, just long as the consecrators are there. I don't care if don't nobody else show up. I said, I don't care, and so we had to get to that point. And it was such a huge spiritual warfare condition that, our homilists, alhamdulillah, he was fine up until it was the day before that he was supposed to travel. And when I tell you that brother was sick as a dog, I'm gonna let him tell the rest of the testimony. I don't know the other side of it. I can just tell you the side that I know about, right? When I tell you that brother was sick as a dog, he was sick as a dog. He couldn't even talk. And I said, oh God, right? I said, well, we don't want to kill the brother for affirmation. And he says, no, he said, I said I was coming to do it, that I was going to do it. This is why, y'all listen. And this ain't geared toward nobody, but if it make you feel some kind of way, then maybe you need to check you for real. But I said, if somebody who was sick, as that brother was sick, can hop on a plane, right, to show up, because he was like, no, because you've always shown up. You've always been there, right? He's like, no, I'm doing this. He told us that even if I had to get there and do sign language, I was coming. And he was sick, right? And so we made sure that everything was good for him. He had medicine and everything. I mean, up until an hour before the affirmation, he couldn't speak. But as y'all watched, he came on with it, all right, and disrupted the entire atmosphere. So thank you, Dr. Davis from Indianapolis, for doing that for me. I'll never forget that ever, because he didn't let sickness, right? And then again, my goddaughters and my friend girl, sister friend, they drove 22 hours to get me here, drop me off. Then drove another 7 hours to Georgia to her mama's house. Then they drove another 7 hours back the next day and got them a room here so they can be at the affirmation. So anybody else, right? I know people money funny, got it, right? People money funny, got it. But people who, and my Archbishop always told me, he said, don't say that. Because we've gotten so used to that, and it gives people an opportunity to continue to treat you the way they treat you. But people who should have been there were not there. And I'll never forget that. Forgive, yes, but I'll never forget that, because I have hopped on buses, planes, trains, automobiles, right? Spent money I didn't have, bill money, grocery money, because people wanted me to be at something that was so important to them. And I made sure that I was there, no matter what the cost was, no matter what the sacrifice was. And when it was my turn, and God had to show me this too. And I said, when it was my turn, people got in their feelings. Yeah, God showed me that. People got in their feelings. I said, hey, can you come? Nope, can't be there. Didn't even give them the date. Automatic, just out their mouth. Can't be there. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm eating noodles and hot dogs, so I can get to your stuff, and you can't come and be there for me. Got it, no problem. And went on about my way. And then God had to show me that too. He said, well, look who my son had. My son had two that showed up. His mama and John. He had two. That's it. He said he had two. And it's just God revealing the hearts of people. And the reason why I'm saying this, and people can say what they want to, all right? People say what they want to, but I'm human, right? I'm human, and I have feelings, and I'm not going to let people walk all over my feelings and then say, well, you know what? It's all right. It's okay. No, it's not. It's not. And you can't let people do that and keep giving them an out and keep giving them a pass to walk all over you and treat you any kind of way. And I'm not. And that's always been me. I'm not. And so, no, they don't get a pass. They don't get an out, right? What they get is they get forgiveness, but it lets me know how I have to handle them, okay? And how I have to deal with them, how my relationship with them has changed, because when something like this happening, this was a big step, and they knew the sacrifices that I have made, the losses that I have sustained in the pursuit of this. Something that I never asked for, but was on my life. And they were so inconsiderate that they didn't even attempt to try to be here, right? And then even if they didn't come, I never got a, you know what, we praying for you. Never got that. Never got a congratulations. Couldn't even fix their mouth or their heart to say congratulations. Nothing, right? So my thing is, and I'm not saying this, hear me, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be petty. But all those that were silent when it was my turn, I need them to continue to be silent. Right. And so God is taking me to a place, and God is rearranging those around me. And so he really opened my eyes to this thing, and he really used it to reveal the hearts of people that are connected to me, and some of the people that he said, I told you to leave them folk alone. Right. So, sometimes, he has to do certain things to show us how we need to really do disconnect. And so in this time that I have had alone and by myself, and downtime, and time to just hear God, and time to put a lot of things in perspective, and to analyze a lot of my, hey, there's my guy, baby, to analyze my relationships. I sat back and I looked at some of these friendships, relationships, and I said, they never was doing nothing. No way. You know what I mean? It's like they weren't contributing nothing to the friendship, relationships, whatever ship they was on. They were never contributing. It was always me pouring in. It was always me showing up. It was always me investing. It was always me pushing. It was always me supporting. It was always me promoting. Right? And so, and I was like, wow. So they never really were for me. Anyway, they were just with me, but they weren't for me while they were with me. Okay. And so, even inside of that, I had to cry. The night before, I had to cry. All right. I literally had to cry. I'm telling you, and I was in the truck with Apostle Tracy, and I just started crying. I said, girl, you just got to forgive me, because now I'm getting emotional. Right. I got emotional. Literally when the homilist said, I'm on the plane, I'm in Chicago, right? He done left Indianapolis on the plane in Chicago. I started crying. I said, because if this man who lives all the way there, right? And he's part of his team. I said, but he's all the way there. And I said, this man who is sick as a dog can get on a plane sick, literally sick. And I got people that ain't nothing wrong with them. They had nothing going on. They could have been here. They had no emergencies. They had no financial hardship at all going on. They just said they weren't coming. Right? And didn't show them. Were AWOL. And still didn't even acknowledge nothing. I said, that right there hurt me. And I'm not going to let them forget that they hurt me. Okay? I'm going to forgive them, and I'm going to go on, but I'm not going to forget that you hurt me intentionally. Right? So intentionally. But that all comes with this level, right? Apostle Adrian had already told me that before. Him and Apostle Tracy gave me my counseling, and it's just some relationships and friendships I just got to cut off. And I know that. But it was just shocking. It was shocking to me. The people that you would never expect that from, because they're supposed to be so kingdom. Right? They're supposed to be so kingdom. And you've done things for them that you would never do for other people. Okay? And when it's your turn, they completely just threw it back in your face and just said, screw you. I don't care nothing about what you got going on. And so I had to take it on the chin. I did. But I cried about it. And God says, you still gonna do this? I did it anyway. So I want to encourage somebody, do it anyway. People gonna walk away, do it. Whatever God told you to do it anyway. Do it anyway. Even if it's just you by yourself, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Right? And so that was the one part of the affirmation service, when you have to stand there, and they call it the examining. And Apostle Adrian was doing the examining, and you're standing there all by yourself. And that's a reminder that sometimes you're going to have to stand by yourself. Ain't going to be nobody. You have to stand by yourself. And it was in those moments, and still there. And you have an opportunity even during that time to say, you know what, I don't want to do this, but still there, God says, you still going? You still going up? And I'm like, it's a yes, I'm doing it in spite of. And so, like I said, I won't mention this ever again. So I'm just making it plain that if I'm quiet on you, it's because you were quiet on me. You were quiet on me. during a time that you should have been there. Like like I tell people, I say I paid for too many college tuitions, houses, cars, vet bills. Okay, for you not to even say congratulations, I don't care if you didn't show up, but for you not to say congratulations purposely, and knowing that I know that you know and you saw and you were watching, and you said nothing, you stayed silent on me, I gotta stay silent on you, right? And so it's just a new season. It's a different time, y'all. It's a different time, and now with all of that behind me, I'm going forward. I got some things that I have been working on. There's some things that I now can do. Hey, sister. There's some things that I now can do. And I do want people to understand, even though this was a crazy journey, when I tell you, I just wish y'all knew how crazy this was. But there were things that I could not do. There were certain things that I could not reveal, right? Until this particular day. And until after this elevation. So y'all be watching. There's some things y'all are going to see come out. And I'm excited to share them. I'm excited for y'all to be a part of it and support it if you want to. And if not, at least pray for a sister while she's doing that. But the building is continuing. And just continue to keep lifted in prayer, because I was thinking about my Archbishop during all of this. But I'm glad he did live long enough for me to let him know this was the next step. And he blessed me off. But he did pass some things on to me that nobody even knew about. And I get to carry it on. I get to pick up, building where he stopped building certain things. But when I was consecrated as a bishop, there were some things that he passed along to me. And so now I get to work on those things, and I get to finish building those things. And so there's going to be more teaching. All right. There's going to be some, there's going to be some courses, classes, lots of things going on. And I'm super duper excited, because everybody knows that at my heart, I love teaching, right? Now y'all know I preach the paint off the walls, but I do love teaching. I love to teach. And so I'm going to have an opportunity to do that. There's something that I'm building, and I'm excited about it. I don't have all the details just yet. But I do have people that I can lean on and bounce some ideas off of. And so it's going to be amazing. And I'm so grateful. And this was part of why I was being fought so hard. You know what I mean? Fought so hard because I don't like this. Let me say it like this. And it's going to sound weird and it's going to sound odd, but this is the only way I can say it. What I was going to need at this level was already put together. All right. So when I got to this level, I did not have to lay any foundation. I just got to come in and finish putting the finishing touches on what was already built. It literally was handed to me. Okay. It was literally handed to me and it was already built. Now I just need to put some finishing touches to it. And then I'll be able to share it and reveal it. And so it was just sitting there waiting. And I'm sitting here and I was like, well, why you didn't, I'm telling my bishop, why you didn't send it that way? Why you didn't send it that way? And he was just like, no, this was made for you. So it's a lot of stuff that I have been sitting on, and I had to sit on it until this point, because it would have, yeah. Yeah. So everything, like I say, in God's timing. But here's the other thing, y'all, and doing it anyway, in God's timing. And we say that a lot too. It's like some things happen in God's timing, but there's some things that could have happened sooner rather than later. If other people would have gotten into the position that God had called them to, and they would have moved the way that God was telling them to, instead of looking at me and trying to block my way, what they literally did was they forfeited something that could have benefited them, their ministries. And we tend to do that in the black communities, in the black church, because and as much as people don't want to talk about it, that fear and that intimidation and that insecurity is real. It's real. And when you see God moving somebody, and you can see that somebody has a gift that you don't have and you don't possess, right? You start to feel some kind of way. And when you start to feel some kind of way, you start moving in a way that God did not tell you to move. And when you do that, hear me, when you do that, you sabotage yourself, and then it causes God, right? It causes God to pluck people up and say, yeah, let me get them out of here. The soil is no longer conducive to growth. It's no longer going to nourish what I thought was supposed to be planted here, right? What I sent here, it's not good for the growth of this. So now I got to pluck this up, and until I find, another place to plant it, I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to use it there. And it never fails. And in just like when I was consecrated a bishop, there was 2 years in between that I built up Karen Lomax Ministries International. All right. So now God has me in another Abraham type position. But within this weight and where he's taking me next, I don't know. I'm not rushing. I'm enjoying the journey. I will be building. And so in this time, I know that, I have some laborers who understand the call, and they understand what it is that God has me building. And so I have help. So I have help in this. And I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry that somebody's going to try to sabotage the building. I don't have to worry about somebody's like, okay, once you get it built, give it to me. And now I'm going to take this. Yes, you can work it, but now it's mine. I don't have to worry about that stuff. God literally has me connected with people who sees the gift, who's acknowledged the gift, who's going to, not allow me to mess up the gift. And gonna nourish it and support it, and they see it, right? And they're not trying to grab it and take it and try to shape it and form it into what they feel it should be. But they see what God is doing, and they're moving with God, and they're allowing God to do the shaping and the molding, right? And they're holding me accountable to what God said. So they won't let me mess it up. They won't let me get off track, because they know and they see what God has said, and they're going with God. So that's the part that I'm loving. That's the part. And most of all, I don't have to conform. I get to be who it is that God has called and commissioned me to be. I don't have to pretend. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Not that I ever did, because y'all know I didn't, and that's been the problem, because I'm just a straight shooter. But they know that about me, right? And they're gonna hold me, to certain things and to certain standards, and I'm great with that. But also my godparents, they still cover me as well. But I'm loving this new chapter. And when Archbishop Alexander passed away last month, that was my sign, and that was the door has closed on that chapter. And because, again, when was that? Was that like a year ago? 2 years ago? When it was spoken again, it's like, hey, it's time for this. And I didn't move, and people didn't understand why I didn't move, right? And I didn't move because I needed God to show me when it was time. And then when Archbishop came along, and I first found out that he was sick. So I knew he had been sick for a while. And I was like, okay, this is that time. God is closing that door. And I'm like, but this going to cause some controversy. Just going to stir up some stuff, but I got to do it anyway. right? It's been too long. And so I was like, I got to do it anyway. I'm gonna go anyway. I'm going to say what I need to say. I got to do what I need to do. And sometimes we can get so wrapped up trying to make sure everybody else is good, trying to make sure this place is good, that you neglect everything that God has instructed you to do. And I could not be everything, and I couldn't do everything that God had called me to do. Because of where I was, because I did not want to be out of order, right? But I was, because I was out of order with God. So sometimes doing what it is that God has called you to do, people not going to like it, and it may, it may cause a little bit of a push and pull, but you got to do it anyway. So and be 100%. Now listen, y'all, don't be going to your leaders and talking about, well, I heard God tell me that I'm supposed to be gone, and you go. No, you better be 100% that this is what God called you to do, because the moment you leave, hear me, no matter, and I'm going to say this because I don't want people thinking that, oh, this is what she was just all about in the first place. No, it's not. I was who I was before I went to all of the ministries that everybody saw me be a part of. I was already who I was. I was already ordained and trained before I got to these places. But this is what I want people to understand. You better get what you're supposed to get at that place and at that level, because I will never ever, no matter how bad things were at any of the ministries that I've ever been a part of, I will never sit here and say that I did not get poured into, that I didn't learn anything, and I will never say that, because I did. Okay? Every ministry I was ever a part of, I learned something. You have to learn how to chew the meat and spit out the bones, right? And I did that. But I also learned that I have to be obedient when God says it's time to go. You have to go, and you cannot don't be like Lot's wife, worried about the folk left behind, because that'll keep you stuck in a place. And that's why she got stuck in a place, right? And so, but I've learned, no matter how it was treated in places, I learned, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to all of the ministries at every level, even those who mishandled me. I'm grateful, because it taught me how to handle people. It taught me what not to do. Right? When it was my turn to go up and disciple and stuff like that. So I learned things. So I always tell people, I always take away the good things when I leave. I don't talk bad about nobody's ministry. Even if it was bad for me there, I'll never do that, because God used those experiences to shape me. He used those experiences to teach me. He used those experiences to grow me and mature me. All right. For this particular journey. All right. So when you leave a place, you don't got to make a fuss. You ain't got to make no post about the folks. You ain't got to do that. My thing is, and it's just like your parents always taught you, leave a place better than what you left it. And that's what I did. That's what I've done for all the ministries I've been with. I left it a better place for the next person who had to step in the spot that I was in. And I go on about my life. And that's what you have to do. But you can't allow hardships. You can't allow what people think, say, and do, all right, to stop you from going in the direction that God wants you to go. And you can't expect them to be happy for you. Don't do that, because you may get disappointed. Right? You can't expect to take a lot of people with you. You can't expect them to even be happy about it, right? And so I've learned how to not have those types of expectations of people. That way, when they don't live up to the expectation, ain't no skin off my back, and ain't no problems and no issues. All right? But you have to go anyways. When God says go, go. You ain't got to go check in. And this is the thing where I tell people, that was my thing. I was like, well, let me go see, and and God said, I already done told you. Just go. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, this is not done because this is what I need to be doing. God says, you better go anyway. Leave that. Leave that, all right? And go anyway. Don't sit in a place that you said now that God told you it's time to go. Don't sit there. What are you sitting there for? Especially you sitting there and you complaining. Don't do that. All right? Because at that point, it's not on that ministry, it's on you. Right? And then you cannot blame that place for the hurt that you experience. Right? You can't cry church hurt if God told you to go and you stayed there. That's not on the church. That's on you not being obedient to the voice of God because you don't want to upset people. Okay? So that's something. Hey, Sister Melba, I see you. Hey, Greta, I see you. Greta, listen, ma'am, I got to talk to you. There's some stuff I want. There's some things that I want. Hey, Tawana, there's some things I want. But you can't get mad at that point because it's on you. They didn't tell you to stay. All right? They told you to get gone. Okay? What you say? Well, I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. Tawana said, nobody but God knew that little black girl from Malden. Come on. We'll be teaching and leading this path to God. Thank you, God, that you listen. Thank you. Now, y'all, Tawana, that's my girl right there. Me and Tawana used to play tennis. We used to play on the same tennis team in high school. Oh, we played tennis together in school. We played tennis. Yes, y'all was on the tennis team. All right. And so, yeah. So what it really is just that season to do what God is telling you to do. There's going to be sacrifices, y'all, but I'm here to tell anybody. Now listen, it's not easy, and it does not, I don't care who say what. It does not feel good. It does not, right? I'm happy that I've listened to God, and I'm grateful. I'm excited about this next level, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and say this felt good. It did not. The tears that y'all saw, the tears that you saw, the relief, it was relief that it was over, right? That it was over, that this particular journey to this level was over. Now the journey continues to whatever it is that God has for me next, but it was relief. It does not feel good. It does not. It does not feel good. And I always tell people, I'm leery and I'm scared of people who even run to this stuff. All right? Because they'll tell you, I ran the opposite direction. I ran the opposite direction. And God literally had to close the door. Y'all better hear me. God literally had to close the door behind me and lock it so I wouldn't try to go back. That's how scary this thing was. It is not an easy journey. And if you listen, and if you are not used to, and I'm going to say it, if you're not used to eating beans and rice, if you're not used to eating some noodles and some hot dogs, don't you do it, because I'm telling you, the warfare that comes with this, your finances going to get hit to the point where you're going to be like, what in the world? But it was so crazy because when I tell you, listen, y'all know I love to get hair done, nails done, all the stuff looking cute and all this type of stuff. When I tell you God had my money, and to this day, I say God allowed the enemy to lock up all of my pennies, nickels and dimes. You hear me? Locked it up. Locked it up. I couldn't buy nothing. Right? And it wasn't that God was trying to get me to suffer. Hear me. Hey, Brian. Brian, thank you. I'm glad you came on. Thank you. Brian came on. I was just getting ready to tell a part of this, right? So this is what, hey, I see you, Angela, I see you. And so when I tell you God locked my money up, hey, Dr. Corinthia, locked it up. Not because he wanted to see me suffer, but God wanted me to see his hand move in this, to remind me who he is, right? And what he can do. And when I tell you God moved in every area every area I was locked up in, God moved in that area. God moved in that area, right? And I said, man, and Brian was the first one that he used. Brian and his wife were the first one to use because I had no money. Okay, what did that boy say? No pancakes, no syrup. You know what I'm saying? Pancakes, no syrup, right? Oatmeal, no sugar, right? So had my stuff locked up. And it was just like, okay. I said, I already got a ride now, Jesus. I'm already hitching a ride. I was like, I can hitch a ride. I ain't been on a road trip ever outside of California, road trip. So I was like, all right, I got the ride together. So here, touching the money, because I'm like, man, because I was like, at least if I get a ride there, then I can fly back, or I can do this and I can do that. Have my money locked up, y'all, right? Locked up. And so he used Brian first to send a financial gift. Use him first to send a financial gift. And I said, oh, okay. All right, let's do this. Use my godparents, okay, to help get the vestments. That was their investment in me, was the vestments. Because they were gone and they wanted to be here. But when they got back, my godfather was sick. So I was just like, So they did their part. They did what they said we're going to do. So we didn't have to worry about that. So I was like, all right, cool. So that's done. Right. So, and then another one of his team members, he came in and gave me a financial, blessing as well. And so, and I was like, okay, man. So when I got here, I was able to get my little nails and stuff. I said, God, I'm not me if I don't have my hair and nails done. Y'all listen, I don't know why people be trying to act like they don't know. So y'all know my cute little wig. I had my little wig. I said, let me throw some mousse on her and we're going to go. Because my godmother wasn't there to get my hair done. And by the time we get here, we weren't going to have time to do nothing, right? Except for just rest and get everything together. So I threw some mousse on Old Faithful and we got on the road with her on my head. Okay. We're taking a break from her today. Right, so we did that, got here, got the nails done. When the vestments finally came and got to where they needed to get to, and y'all know my robes is a size 10, is a size 10 or 12. So this robe is size 10. We put that thing on and it wouldn't get past my hips. Now listen, I know I got some hips. I'm dragging a wagon. I'm not even gonna pretend I'm not. But I was like, I know my other robes. I just tried one of my robes on before I left California and it couldn't fit. So I have to shout out Mama Bertha Tab. I have to shout her out and I'm going to tag her in a post because when I say she did her good sewing, her good tailoring, when she got finished with my robe, I think I could put somebody else in the robe with me, but it was it was exactly the way I needed it to fit. It was loose. And so she came in and reworked that robe for me and got that thing together. Y'all hear me? So that was taken care of. And it was just God just moving. It was God just moving. He was just showing me. He said, Karen, I got you. Right? And that was one of the things that I was always worried about. It's like, God, when I leave, do you got me? You know what I mean? I was like, I'm stepping down from the position I had at the church. And I was like, and it was just time for me to leave the ministry. And I said, now I'm out here. And I was like, I don't want it to seem like, and I had been there 11 and a half years. And I said, I don't want it to look as if I'm just stepping out and just going out here and trying to do my own thing. Cause I'm not, right? God said, girl, if you don't shut up and go on and do what I'm telling you to do, this is part of it. If you can't endure what people are going to say about you, then you're not ready. Let's go. Are you going? And I'm going, right? So I did. And so God really just wanted me to see his hand. And listen, the crazy part is I told y'all at the beginning of the year that this was the year that God was going to allow us to see him move, to see his hand move in our lives, in our situation, right? And I said, well, doggone it, girl, you said it. You didn't believe it. And God said, well, this is what you told the folk. And so this is what I'm doing. I'm showing you, right? Showing it at every step. Had to find some plain black shoes because, you can't have your toe stuff out. There's a protocol. Honey, we got here and the first shoe store we got to, All right. First shoe store we got to, and I was like, there was some cute ones, but they was hurting the girl feet. I got wide feet, y'all. Okay. But we got the shoes. All right. Found the shoes, the most comfortable shoes, and got a military discount to get the shoes. Right. So God just really moved. He moved and then moved even more the day of and the day after. And so when God tell you to go, no matter what seems to be an issue, go anyway. Hey, Betty, seems to be an issue, no matter what the circumstance looks like, no matter what it's feeling like, sound like, smell like. Y'all better hear me. You better go anyway, because I promise you, whatever it is that you require for the journey. Let me get off of here, because y'all not about to have me preaching. Whatever you require for the journey, I promise you, you're going to walk, run, drive right into it when you just make up your mind to go. This is why when he told the disciples, y'all don't take an extra coat, don't take an extra pair of shoes, don't take extra nothing. Don't take an extra script. Don't take extra anything. Go with what you got. Because he going to make sure you get what you need if you go what you got. Hey, D-Rob, I see you. I see you. And so, and that was it, y'all. And people be act like they ashamed to tell their story. But listen, people overcome by the blood of the Lamb and what? What? The power of what? Their testimony. So I'm not going to be the one to act like, oh, yes, I had it. And it was, listen, y'all, when I sat down and I said, well, this costs this, I counted up the cost. And when God got finished using his ravens, all right, to make sure I had everything I needed, even if I would have got paid, I still wouldn't have been able to pay for all this. I wouldn't have been able to pay for all this. I mean, I could have, but I would have been eating peanut butter sandwiches probably for another year. God did that because of the people he put in place, right? There was favor shown. There was grace shown. And when I tell you miracles, signs, and wonders, that's all I got to say is to the people who didn't come that should have been here. You missed yours. And I'm not going to, people always say, oh, if it's for you, it's for you. No, sometimes you can miss it if you're not where you're supposed to be. That's all I'm going to say. Because when I say the glory was in the house, God was healing bodies and bank accounts. Hear me. God was healing bodies and bank accounts. All right. So you got to get out. You got to get out of this thing. And we all do. We have to get out of this thing, and out of our feelings when it's somebody's turn, right? I always celebrate people. The Bible tells us to do that. I always celebrate people. So when it's my turn, I want to be celebrated. But unfortunately, everybody's heart ain't like my heart. And I'm learning that the hard way. Everybody's heart ain't like mine. Everybody's heart's not like mine. And so I have to be careful. Now, right? Now I have to be careful. I have to be careful because now people act as if they just got a revelation that I was anointed. No, I've always been anointed, right? I'm not ashamed to say that. I've always been anointed. And it was so funny that Apostle Teresa, man, I'm so thankful for her. Apostle Teresa, and she let everybody know there. You can go watch it on the live. That people always thought that I was mean. They always say, "Oh, you just abrasive," right? Saying that you're abrasive and you just hard and you cold. And I'm not. I'm just one of those people that I believe what God says about certain things. And if it's not looking like that, if it's not the way that God says that it's supposed to be, and especially if you said this is the way God says it's supposed to be and it's not looking like that, then yes, there's going to be an issue. Right? Because I like order. And that's one of the reasons why I'm divorced. Because there was too much disorder. There was too much chaos. I can't be in anything that is not order. Right? That's why the military and I get along. Organization, structure. I like that. And when it's not there, then I have an issue with that. And people tend to think that I'm being hard on them, but no, I can see what it is that you're saying, that God is saying for you, and what you're supposed to be doing. And if I see something disjointed and something unorganized, yeah, I'm going to let you know, like, no, that ain't it. But if you do it like this, and if you go on and do it, and then my question is, how did God tell you to do it? Then why are you not doing it that way? Right? Because in the end, I'm defending God all day long and what he said. So if God told you to do it that way, why is it not looking that way? Why are you not doing it that way? Right? So I always have had those types of run-ins with people, because I literally and honestly and truly believe what God says. I just believe what he says. And I will step out on that. Right? I'll sleep on the streets if God say, listen, I need you to get up out that house because I'm getting ready to put you in a mansion. I ain't seen no mansion. I ain't got money for a mansion, but I'll be like, well, I guess I'm at the sleep on the corner on the sidewalk until the mansion come. You know what I mean, y'all? I'm being funny, but I'm also being honest, because I really trust and I believe God. And if it requires me to lose some things in the pursuit of him, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm doing it anyway. So that's it, y'all. Tanya say, take your time. This is encouragement for me. Oh, amen. To God be the glory. And so I really don't be coming on here to stay on long. I don't. But I just told Tracy, I said, Tracy, I'll be trying not to stay on. I know my brother JJ is somewhere, because every time I say I ain't with him long, he said, and 45 minutes later. But it be the Holy Ghost. It don't be me. It really doesn't. It don't be me. I'm really a shy person. I really am. I don't like being in front of cameras, but I will. Okay. For the sake of the people, I do what I have to do. But yes, y'all. But overall, I have to say thank you, to Apostle Tracy for opening up her home, because I had no money to get no hotel when I got here. I say, God, I don't have no money. Like you got my money locked up, and these people talking about, oh, it'll be probably sometime this week, but we don't know what day. That ain't helping us, sister. I said, I'm gonna need y'all. I'm gonna have to squat in your house somewhere. So I had to thank her for opening up her home, but she has a lovely home. She does. She has a lovely home, and I'm being very well taken care of. I went in my room, and there's stuff on the countertop. I'm gonna take a picture. Y'all know I had stuff on the countertop. I felt like I was at a 5-star hotel up in here. All right, everything that I need. Right, everything that I need, and so I have to thank her for opening up her home and let me stay here and all that good stuff. I really do. I have to thank her, and I have to thank Apostle Adrian, because when I say that brother has a lot on his plate, with his own ministry and with his businesses and all these things. I have to say thank you that he literally took the time and put this thing together, and it was done in excellence. It really was. And those programs are the bomb. Okay. Everything was just amazing. Everything was just, I could not have asked for anything else. I can ask for anything else. And I like the way it was done, because it wasn't pretentious. It wasn't pretentious. I've gone to some of these things, and they've been pretentious, like, and just everybody was all stiff-necked and all this type of stuff. No, we had a good time. God was in the place. Holy Ghost wrecked the place. Through Dr. Davis, through the sick man of God. I really want to put the photos out there, but I'm trying to wait for him to post them first before I start putting photos out there. But when I tell you, that brother, just the atmosphere was wrecked. I'm wrecked. And then I have to say thank you to Ren, all right, Brown. When I tell you, I asked him for one song. But when I tell you the compilation he put together had me laying on the floor on my face. The glory was in the house. The glory was in the house. God really, really came in, and it was not just about me. Even though it was my day, it was not just about me. It was about those that were there, and those that were there, God did something special for those that were there because they sacrificed to come and celebrate me. They sacrificed. Everybody sacrificed. Apostle Teresa coming from Houston, 9 hours. All right, 9 hours, and then come and do an affirmation the same day. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, God did something special. And I asked God, I said, God, whatever you were going to do for them, whatever you're going to do, keep doing it. Do it again and do it again. Because people made sacrifices to be there for me. And when I tell you they got set free, they got delivered. When I tell healing, it was, I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. Everybody in the place walked away with something from God. All right? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Right? But I do appreciate everybody who had a hand in it. Everybody, the praise team, Dr. Corinthia for coming in and stepping in and making sure everything was done the way it needed to be done, and everybody. It was amazing. It was wonderful. I could not have asked for better. That's all I'm saying. I would not have it done any other way than that. There's Ren right there. Hey, Ren. There he is, y'all. Y'all need to book him. I'm telling you, just make sure your wig is pinned on or glued on tight, because it's coming off if you don't. All right? When I tell you he sang that song, listen. I can't even go back and look at the live because I'm scared I'll be on the floor again. Between him and Dr. Davis. I said, y'all not about to have my wig turned to the back. Okay? With this anointing in the house. It was so much anointing in the house. It really, really was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was. Y'all know, they were there. All right? Ain't about to have my wig off. Shoot. I had the ghost bond glue on mine. Ran like to sing it off, and Dr. Davis tried to preach it off. I said, I cannot, y'all. Cannot, right? And so I'm grateful. I really, really am. And then I'm grateful for Apostle Adrian and everybody at Kingdom Builders Ministries for the hospitality and everything, from the food and everything. And then opening up the pulpit and allow me to preach my first sermon as an apostle on Sunday. And God got us again on Sunday. I said, God, I don't want to preach hard. And preached hard. But it was all God. It really, really was. So I'm not going to stay on here long, but I do just want to say thank you to everybody who had a hand in this. To those who honestly had already told me they weren't going to be able to be there. I got it, and I understood that. We had some deaths. We had some sicknesses. We had some family events. I would not want anybody to miss family events and things of that nature on my account. And so I thank those who desired to be there and could not, right? For whatever reason, they desired to be there and could not. Thank you for those who even sent out prayers to me the day of and the day after, and all of the celebratory text messages and things. I really, really appreciate y'all. I do, because this journey has been crazy. It's been crazy, but it's been worth it. It really, really has. It's been worth it. And I totally felt the shift. And people be thinking I'm playing, but I totally felt the shift happen. And now, have you ever seen like a puzzle piece or something, or you try to put something in a slot and you don't get it all the way in, and it's in there, but you can still feel it wobbling a little bit until it's securely in there the way it needs to be. That's how I feel. I feel like I've been in the right places. I do, because those are the places God sent me, right? But I feel like I was always just here, right? Like I was always like right here. And now it's just like, boom, in there, secure. Okay. And so now it's like there's no, you know what I mean? None of that. And so I know that it was just time. I know it was time. And so now the hard work begins. Okay. Is the next step of building. But I'm trusting God still. All right, with everything that He has shown me that He desires for me to do, which is, and it's going. I'm still going to continue to disciple. I'm still going to do that. But that's what my ministry always has been about. My ministry has always been about outreach. My ministry has always been about train, ordain, release. And because that's the way Jesus did it. It was train, ordain, release, y'all. One of these days I'm gonna preach on the gathering. That's what it's gonna be called. It's called the gathering. And I'm gonna preach on that. I'm gonna teach on that. Because we got this thing so messed up, and that's why people are so confused. And some people stay and never get sent out, and they die with purpose. I'm gonna die empty. All right. And they die full of purpose because they never get sent out. They never get sent out. But yeah, I'm going to do a teaching on called The Gathering. Okay, that's probably going to be one of my first big teachers. It's going to be on that because God showed me something. And I was like, see, that's what I'm saying. That makes sense. We got this thing so backwards. And it's centered around ego and things of that nature, and control, and just a lot of just misinterpretation and stuff like that, right? So, but that's for another day. That's for another day. I just want to get on here for a little bit and do what I do and let y'all see me and say thank you. Yes, He did. God did His big one. God did His big one. Spoke loud and clear for all of us. And so I thank y'all. I don't know when I'll be back on with another live. So that's probably why this one is long. I'm enjoying quiet time. So I'm not in a rush to get back on the screen. When I get back to California, I'll probably take another week. until Jesus said, okay, Moses, time to get off the mountain. Right? So I'll probably take another week when I get back. It'll probably be a week of downtime, and then after that. But I need y'all to pray because July is the month that my move has to happen. So we need to pray that God opens up a door, pour out some blessings, move on the hearts of some people, so we can get me moved to Indiana. I have to get moved. And God told me don't leave anything behind, because once I go that way, I'm not to come back. So I gotta do it the way He's telling me to do it, right? So just pray that He'll show me what I need to do to make all that happen. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all another time. Bye, everybody.